Hey, what's up? Happy Wednesday, guys. Don't mind me as I'm looking around. I'm just getting my monitor set up, getting all my card stuff over here set up, so we'll get rolling here in a second. I'll let everybody roll in. But I hope you're having a good week. Brett, what's up, man? I think Brett's the first name I see in here tonight. What's up, buddy? Bear with me, guys, as I get my all my stuff set up here, and then I'll be ready to rock so I can connect with you all night. I'm so happy you guys are here. I hope that everybody's having like a good day, good week, and everything. Oh man, it's in Michigan. I don't know. I guess the older I get, I feel like I turn into an old man and talk about the weather more. But I'll tell you my weather story just to get it out of the way. It was like 75 here in Michigan yesterday, and today it was like 25 and snowy. All right. Monster Energy, right? Insta account. Tonight we got purple. Or no, it's it's kind of like a purpley pink. Ultra Rose. So I buy the same monsters all the time. I always like the gold ones. I'm told they don't make them anymore. So there goes the good gold one. So now I'm looking for a new flavor. All right. So I promise you guys I'll answer questions tonight too. I notice like whenever I watch some of the playback on this, I'm always like staring over here. We'll turn around. We'll get busy on cards because we got busy stuff to do tonight. All right. So, and it's going to take you. I got to tell your friends that I'm going to need you for like 40 minutes tonight, because I think that's probably what we'll need. So gotta press do not disturb. You guys need 35 minutes. We're going to do some good stuff. All right. So, but I'm so happy everybody's here, man. Looks like we've got a good group tonight, and thank you for the nice feedback, man. I love the spray too. I'm glad you guys like it. I was thinking about this today. You guys, I'll tell you what, like, I'll warn you, this is one of my like kind of sappy stories about you guys. I was thinking today after I get a lot of nice messages and direct messages and pictures and nice emails and stuff, and I love reading them and seeing them. And it's almost like every time I see these good cards, I think it's like, I can't help but think of like if it was my card, you know? And it's like, it still freaking blows me away that all this stuff that I, just made for my own pleasure and fun, now I get to know all of you guys because I decided, what the heck, I might as well show people the thing I like to do and the stuff that I like to make, and look at it. We all know each other now because of this, and it's never gets old for me, and it's very special. So I'm happy that you guys are here. All right, so don't mind me if I'm staring over here. I just got to look at the monitor for a second. All right, but I just wanted to tell you guys I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, so yeah, we got to get busy because I got 2 cards that we're gonna do tonight. Tonight we got to do a lot, and if you're note takers, however you process stuff, I want you to take some notes too. All right. So, somebody wrote they can't hear me. Is audio good? Can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. All right, so tonight we're going to soak a modern era card, a Prizm. I'm still waiting for confirmation. You good? You guys, can you hear me? All right, cool. Thank you. So I'm like, I don't want to sit over here and listen to myself talk all day. I already answer everybody's customer services all day. I listen to myself talk all day. Then I watch these videos I make for you guys, and I'm like, man, this guy doesn't shut up. So, so thanks for bearing with me. So what we're going to do tonight, I want to do Prizm, okay? We're going to soak a Prizm, and it has an autograph on it, because that's a super common question I get asked. Can I soak a Prizm card with a sticker auto? So let's just do it. And I did this damage personally, so it didn't come out of the pack like this. I'm going to show you guys more detailed, but I did heavy lines, I did sharp little lines, I did thick dents, I did a bunch of stuff, so we can like test and see like, do they all go away? Does a couple go away? So like test card. And then I always get questions about our favorite stuff, our vintage stuff. So we got a 53 Willie Mays, and it has like what appears to be mold. I don't know what else it could be. It's just 2 random weird spots all over it. It's just, it may even got graded. It was a 1, but like when I see something like that, I'm like, it's like, it just calls me, it's like, I see this. It's like, ooh, some guys might see a PSA 10 and they're like, drooling. I see this. I'm like, oh dude, I got to get my hands on that. So that's what we're doing. All right. So we'll do those tonight. All right. I promise it'll be fun. And then I want to talk about too. Okay. I'm prepared. I made notes because I was thinking about you guys. Because I notice I'll turn this thing on and I'll just be like, oh, let's talk about this, that, and the other. So I got a format tonight. We're going to talk about drying modern cards, and we're going to talk about drying vintage cards. And if you guys didn't see, if you remember, it was 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago from tonight, 4 Wednesday night lives ago, we did the Zion Williamson Prizm soak, and it worked out really well, right? Got it back, 9.5, and that was the one, you guys, that was trashed. It was the one that we did. It had like 6 lines going across the back. Soaked it. I was so particular about the back because I'm like, I just want to make sure the back looks really good and comes back to life really well. And I'm super picky and particular, and so like, I got it back the way I liked it, and I'm like, I'm real picky, but like, you know, like SGC, these guys grade cards all day, every day. They know what the heck they're doing. So I'm like, I want to see if a professional grader agrees with me. I thought it looked great, and it did. So I got confirmation, and that made me happy. So let me do this, guys and girls. I'm going to flip this thing around. I got cards at SGC's the fastest. You know that? Like, I like their service. They're quick. And they're legit, you know what I mean? There's a company, I like SGC. But I got cards at PSA, and I don't have one at BGS. I thought I did. I don't. I got cards at PSA. So they just take longer. So I'm going to do all of them, man. So hear me loud and clear, you guys, when I show you this stuff. It's just testing. You know, I'm just testing this stuff out. That worked out great on this one. But with like my vintage stuff, I've cleaned and soaked vintage cards and just did like that TLC, you know, you guys know if you clean vintage cards, it takes better part of a week to get these things done right. You know what I mean? So like, I've done that for years, but the vintage stuff or the modern stuff is still newer. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's get busy. I told you, see, I'm talking too much. I told you, we got to keep it tight. All right. So let me turn this thing around and we'll look down here, and let me just get my self situated here, guys. All right, so let me get situated here, and I'll show you what we got going on. All right. So we got the 53 Mays, and this is where I can show you some better detail of what I'm talking about. Let me get some good light in here. So I got big dents right there. I did like all the way across there. I did sharp stuff, real annoying crap like that. I did this damage. This card did not come like this. But what I tried to do was this. Common things I'll see. So if 10 guys send me a picture of a Prizm, when I say Prizm, it's a metaphor. Chrome, Bowman, whatever. Plasticky cards, right? When I get pictures, it's always going to be some weird, obnoxious thing. Or it's going to be like these little hits. Or it's going to be like these annoying little like tattoo looking things, like something that's like scratched the hell out of it or penetrated like just the top coat real heavy, right? I tried to capture as many of the common things that you guys send me on the back of one card. And then, of course, you know, sticker and auto. All right. So without any further explanation, let's get this in here. And I need an official timekeeper. What is it? 10:07? 10:07 EST? So what we just did there, you guys, this is my card solution, and I'm soaking it in here because the only way that I've been successful at all of getting these weird issues, you know, out of cards is by soaking them like this. I haven't been able to just do, like, I'll use my humidor for a lot of stuff, and we'll talk about this guy here soon. Like, the humidity's cool, but some stuff is just so hardcore, you know, and sometimes you don't get your hands on like these cards until like a couple years after, you know, maybe even they were new, and it's not even like you can like get a refund or get a redemption or something like that. So sometimes, man, you just gotta either A, deal with that, or B, take it into your own hands, you know. So this is my first time soaking a 22 Panini Prizm. Okay, first time. So clearly the Zion worked fine. And here's what we're looking for. So at 10:07, what I want to take away from this tonight is how long did it take? You guys see the donut, the big wonky donut kind of going around the whole card? Yep, that's the process. This whole thing's got to fill in, and it's got to get all the way. It's going to make the whole back that kind of textury look. But that's how I've done it. And then we'll talk about drying. All right, so that's order number 1. Order number 2. Let's take a look at Willie Mays. Hold on, I saw a great question, and I want to answer it. Let's see. Hey, somebody wrote something nice. Hope you're not affected by the fire. There, as far as I know, I'm in Michigan. I don't know if there's a fire around me, but God, if it's around any of you guys, please, God, I hope it's not affecting any of us. It's horrible to hear. Yeah, I like that Insta account. We appreciate your sacrifice. Yep, we do. I do too. Yes, Fred asked me about restoration on 59 Mantle. Man, I have a whole great chapter of vintage restoration stuff that I'll point you to. It's on my YouTube page, so you guys can access it anytime. But I like it. What makes you choose a plate versus a bowl? You want to know what it is? I always do one card at a time, typically. So I came up with my plan that I wanted to do this with you guys today, and I was like, you know what? I don't have 2 of the same exact size ones, so we're going to have a mismatch party tonight. So absolutely no strategy. It's just necessity, all right? So good question. So let's analyze this one, you guys, because I don't want to just I'm not like in a rush to hang out and run, but I just want to keep on moving. So look at this. I love this. I love it that it made it this far. I love it that it's a 53 Willie Mays and just all the things about it. And I also love the opportunity that I get to hopefully improve it. I just think it's like some sort of mold. I looked at it under the scope, the microscope, and I could see through it. It's kind of brown, looks like it starts in the middle and kind of grows outward. Just some grody stuff. So we're going to have to do some stuff. So let's start with the Willie. So guys, if you're going to soak a vintage card, you want to put it in solution and just gently put your fingers over the corners just for a second. I'm not pushing it down. I just don't want it to curl up on me. You know what I mean? I just want it to lay down. And to my homies on the call tonight answering other collectors' questions, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Michelle, I see you. Thank you. And I know if I missed you, thanks again. I appreciate you guys. I'm always trying to look over and answer the questions. But sometimes I'll just I'm not that coordinated, so thank you. No, sometimes I get that on there. Somebody wrote my voice will go in and out, in and out. I don't know what it is. I got a good internet connection. It might just be in somebody's connection. Hopefully it'll be okay. All right. So let me read through and I catch up. I'm going to turn this around and talk to you guys. All right. So you guys, I'm using my card spray and we started at 10:07, right? So let's go back to our Prizm. And I want to get you guys a good light here. All right. Let me kind of be my light man here. I need to hire a lighting professional to come next week and just lean over my shoulder and help me out here. All right, let's see. All right, so my point is I can see it. I'm just having a hard time getting what I want you guys to see here. Okay, there we go. The circle is not all the way in yet, so I got to wait for that to fill in. But this is good news, you guys. We're making progress. You see how it's already filling in? I put a card in here the other day. I don't know if Gary's on here, but my buddy Gary, if you're on here, what was it you sent me? Gary sent me a practice card. It was Bowman University or something like that. And I couldn't get the card to saturate. I couldn't get the card to saturate at all. We put it in solution. Gary couldn't get it to do it. He sent me one. I put one there. Just wouldn't do anything. So when you see the saturation coming in the card, that's a good thing. Now let's go back over. So we're doing modern soaking and vintage soaking. All right. So Willie Mays went in just about 2-3 minutes ago. And I want to let it just soak and rest. This one, you guys, has clearly a lot of issues, so I don't want to fly through it. You know, when you see this type of stuff like these marks, depending on that those things are, I assume they might be mold, but if it's not, it could compromise the paint of the card. So when I go in here by hand here soon to like start like paying attention to it and start maybe like cleaning it up a little bit, I just want to be real mindful of these spots, because like what we're going to do here tonight, guys, is hang with me. We're going to let this hang out. And if somebody out there, can I have a timekeeper? It's 10:14 my time. At 10:20, somebody say, "Hey Kurt, quit talking," or whatever I'm doing at 10:20, because then I want to move over to start doing little gentle wipes on it. Sometimes I can just get talking too much. So anyways, yeah, I just want to be real careful of these spots. And the reason that I don't want to touch it right now is because I want it to saturate more. I don't want to, this card just looks like it had a pretty rough life, you know, so I want to give it the TLC right now and just do what it can. Either here's what's going to happen with this card. It's going to be like magical and it's all going to look fantastic. It might get medium, might get a little bit better, or who knows, that stuff might be on there, you know, but regardless, I just want to be real respectful of it. So it doesn't ever go in the opposite direction, if that makes sense, you know? So, and you guys, thanks for all the questions, man. And thanks for being understanding, you guys. I try to answer as many as I can. Let me just jump over here real quick. All right. So there's a couple things I want to, here, let me flip this around, you guys, and we'll catch up for a few minutes. All right. So hang tight. We're going to keep, there you are. All right, so we're going to let those sit for a few more minutes, you guys, but there's a couple things I get asked quite a bit. And let me get this thing here. All right, phone stand. Cool. Welcome to my live video, guys. It's me just moving everything around. So thanks for your patience and my homemade production value here. I promise the teaching part will be worth it. So I want to talk about drying cards, okay? Because that's the ticket. That's the part, you know. Because like what we're doing right now is easy. Any of us can put a card in like some card spray, and card spray will do its job. If it's dirty, it'll pull crap out of it, and it will make it nice and clean, you know. And it will do that. But then the rest is up to you. And that is the big part. There is the drying process. So like with the Zion Williamson card, right? Thank you for the 4-minute warning, you guys. I appreciate it. So with this card, the way I got the back flat. If you want to watch the video, I posted it last night, but stay here for now. You know what I mean? This one, so I got it out after Wednesday Night Live, right? And it was wet. So all night I left it between the card mats like this. Card mats and card plate. I'm working on a vintage card right now. So I did this with the Zion all night. Then in the morning, you know, I got it out. And the back was like, the card was like real cool and kind of like still soft, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, all right, I don't think I can just keep holding it. It's like, it's not drying fast enough. So, and thanks for the nice shout outs, guys. You know, sending my best right back. But then I was like, I gotta get it drier. It's good. I can't have it like all like clammy. My biggest concern is I keep it all clammy and weird on a modern card. It's gonna split, you know. It's just it only can hang together so long. So I want to get in and get out, and that's why I'm so like quick on these prisms that I've been doing so far, because there's a window, you know, and if you overstay your welcome, they're gonna split. So after I let it dry overnight between the pads, I let it sit on my desk the next day. Now I do have the ability where I work at home and I'm here every day at the shop, so I can just leave some stuff out, because you know I only left it out for like 3 hours, and then I came over and felt it, and I was like, all right, it's drying more, but then I want to retain it. So then, oops, dropped one. So then I just put it in a sleeve and just put it back between these, but I didn't put the pads on it anymore. I'm like, I just wanted to keep it between plastic for a little bit to keep that back looking flat, okay? So then I just did that for like several days, and then I just started leaving it on my desk for a little bit longer, and it stayed flat. And then it would start to get, you know, a little bit of a curve to it. I'd put it back between the plates, and I'd clip it and hold it. And then, you know, and then it just, it dried and it was flat. And I was like comparing the back to the other card. And I'm like looking at, you know, I'm looking at base Prizms. And I'm like, it looks great to me. I don't see any residuals of those creases. I don't see, the back doesn't look funky. And that's how I did it. So that was like the drying process on that one. We're going to talk about vintage drying too. And we'll talk about that using the humidor and everything. But it's just about 10:20. And we're going to have to go back to the cards here in 1 second, okay? Let me just check this. Actually, we got a minute. It gets to that center part, to that little circle part, and it's not all the way there yet. And if what I'm saying doesn't make any sense, hang tight, I'll show you. We're soaking a Prizm card, and I got to wait for the whole back to saturate before we can get to the next steps. If you guys don't mind, I'm just going to look over here for a quick second. I just want to see if there's any questions that I can answer. Oh, dude, you guys, thanks for the nice feedback. I'm glad that you enjoy watching the videos. I enjoy making them. They're fun. You know, it's like when I started working on cards, I would look on the normal places. Like, well, I guess when I started working on cards, it was way less than a degree than I do today. You know, I've really evolved and tried more stuff, you know, as time went by. Chuck, there you are. Where the heck you been, buddy? But like, my point is, several years ago, like when, you know, different different materials, all this different stuff, you know, early days of the internet, I'm searching around how to work on cards, how to prepare your baseball cards, basketball cards, like nothing would come up. And then, you know, I just really just said, you know, screw it. I'll just continue to practice on everything. So now, you guys, if there's anything you ever need and you're new to this, don't be intimidated by it. You don't have to soak your cards right away or ever. You can just clean them up or work on edges or corners. And if you need anything, go to my YouTube page. I have everything saved on playlists. So you don't have to like just go out and try to figure it out. You know what I mean? So please follow those and we'll get you in the right place. Now it's 10:21. Let's go back to the Willie Mays and see if we can see any difference, or see if we can make any difference with you know, moving that stuff off of the surface. So hang tight, I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so there he is. And what I want to do here, guys, and see if we can get any, I'll give you an update on both cards. Scott, you are a sweetheart for asking me to work on your cards or make that service. Dude, I would have to be a freaking robot that never slept to offer card care services. You know, I really, man, brings me a lot of joy teaching it, being able to do stuff like this, you know, make my products that I, you know, I can't believe I see so many collectors with stuff that, you know, is near and dear to me. That's like my favorite part of it now. I wouldn't have time to do anything like this or show you guys anything like this. You know, that's when I stepped back and said, you know what? I make good stuff. I have a lot of experience. Let me teach my my collector friends how to do this. So if it's something you ever want to learn, bud, I can always, you know, give you my absolute best practices and best advice. All right, so let's take a look. No, it means a lot to me when guys ask me if I'll work on their cards. I mean, we freaking love these things. So it's like saying, hey, will you work on something I cherish? Like, I grew up in a car family. Like, people would bring their most expensive vehicles to my father. My dad had cars, automobiles in the garage that were the baddest cars you've ever seen in your life. And these guys would just like drop the keys off of my dad because, you know, he was awesome and he knew his stuff. And like, when guys say that to me, it always reminds me of like, hey, you know what? It's a sign of trust, and I appreciate the ask, but there's not enough of me to be able to do it. All right, we're getting close, but look, I don't want to say we're hitting a wall, but we just got to get through that. Can't take the Prizm card out with that circle there. If you do, it's going to look terrible. It won't dry right. So, edges and corners are still in check. I assume the autograph is in check, but we'll find out. So Willie's good. You know what though, Duke? Duke said Willie's pruning. You know what? This I think that every card of Willie Mays, with the exception of a few, they make them look so dang old. Like, some of these cards, like this one included, I swear that, and Willie Mays was a good looking guy, but God, they make him look like, kind of looks like Jay-Z a little bit right there. But, especially with that New York hat on. But some of these cards, I swear, they have the most unflattering pictures of these guys. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to use the foam applicator. Before I touch a card, I just want to get the applicator also, in the same feel. Yeah, that's what I said. I said it looks like Jay-Z, doesn't he? That's definitely a Jay-Z shot. Well, hey, both cool dudes. So here's what I'm going to do, guys. This is just a process I'm going to do. I'm going to go over every square inch of the card with very light touch. Like I'm just making contact. Almost just like you're putting on a little layer of paint. That's all I'm doing. It is not any sort of scrub in here, because as soon as you start doing that, you could definitely cause some damage. And I'm going to focus in on this one, you guys, so just enjoy the view from here, and we'll see if we can make any progress. This is the part on the videos, you guys, where I usually put on fast forward. I don't have that option on the live. And I don't like to work one area too long. I just want to kind of bounce around the card, because guess what? Look at the sky over here. I know there's a long way to go, but I already noticed that I already lightened up a couple of these spots. So I think we're gonna see a better looking card when this is all done. And I do have my eye on the Prizm too, you guys. And I don't have my eye on any viewer questions right now, if that's okay. I promise I'll get to it, but I gotta look down for now. Again, just little soft touches here, because these edges, you guys, are so delicate, and what's nice is, as long as I can get these to look light, when this card dries, this stuff will hide even more or go away even more. So just know that when you're cleaning under solution, just know that if you can get something way lighter, it's when it dries, it's even going to look much better. You know what I mean? Just don't get carried away and be like, I gotta keep brushing over it. Nope. Let's do it a few times, because remember, it's going to take, hear me loud and clear on this, it's going to take 4 or 5 days for this thing to dry. I have plenty of time to go back in here while the card is still wet and tap little spots or do little things. So just hear me, guys. Take your time. Take your time. You know what I mean? I have to admit, this is probably the most physical stuff I've probably seen on a card. I mean, I know there's more, but it's a lot. All right, new angle. I want you to move these around, because even though I'm keeping my brushing consistent, I'm going to move the card a little bit, just so I can go at these little problem areas with a little bit of a different angle. Always be so careful around these edges, you guys. Pull away and off the card. Don't go back and forth. Away and up. And the Prizm card's almost ready. So I'm going to just wrap up this whole front session here, and it'll be as probably good as we're going to get for round one. And then I'll flip it over, and I want to check out the back. So we're not going to give up hope yet. I as you guys see, I bring it. I'm not wimping out on you guys. I'm bringing it for you tonight, and we'll see how good we can do. There's a lot of work to do, but I think we are getting close. Oh, we're getting close. We're gonna get to the Prizm done here while we're together tonight, guys. Check this out. We're down to the little bit left, and for those of you that are maybe just joining and are like, "What the heck are you talking about?" I am soaking this card in card spray because I have a variety of damage all over the back of the card. Indents, sharp indents, a lot of little things. And what I'm doing is I'm getting the card spray to go under the coat because, this is a plastic surface. So I need the spray to go in the sides. All right. And it takes about, let's see, when do we put it in? 8 after 10, so we're at about 22 minutes right now, and it's almost all the way in. All right, so almost ready. Okay, so Jeff, don't you be drinking your card spray. You're not allowed to drink it. You got to work on your cards. So what's up, Jeff? You know what? PNW Sports asks, does soaking hurt the auto? We're gonna find out, man. We're gonna find out. We're going to turn it over here in a minute, and we're going to find out, so, yep, and I see a very wise question, or a very wise statement on there, don't rush the drying process, slow is the best. Yeah, if you rush the drying process, guys, or want to take a card out, like we were talking about vintage stuff, and we're going to talk more about it, so hang tight, we're good on time. If you rush the drying process, your cards will, curl up and look like shit, so you got to take it easy, and I'll teach you, as I do, we're going to talk about that tonight in depth. I just wanted to kind of get this thing done and on to step 2 before I start talking, because I'll just be looking at it with one eye and trying to talk to you guys with the other. And I'm not very good at doing 2 things at once, let alone these 2 cards at once. So, all right. So let's take a look. All right, guys, we're there. Check it out. So we have, the card is fully saturated. I'm going to pick it up and show you here. So let's just, instead of me looking through there, let's just get to it. So wide angle, let me show you what I'm doing. We're going to find out here in a second if the autograph is on there. And here's the thing. It's going to be on there. I'm highly confident in that, unless he signed it in a Crayola marker, which I couldn't put past card manufacturers, but I'm going to guess it was signed in a Sharpie, and I'm going to guess it's going to be on there. But what we're going to need to look at is I can still see some injuries on the card from the soaking process, and I'm going to show you a couple things that we're going to just try to do to get the card in a good spot before we start drying it, okay? So let's get it out, and I'll just show you best practices. I could just grab it, obviously, because we're just messing around with base cards. But, I'm going to go in and just pick it up. If you guys ever have a nice card and spray, don't try to get it with your fingernails. Always come in with a penny sleeve and hold it. So we're gonna turn this thing over here in a second. Let's see if we have an autograph still. Yep, perfect. Not even one bit different. So good. Let's analyze it, because you guys, anything that happens to this card is valuable information for all of us. So there's no urge for me to be this better be perfect. It's let's just see what the heck happens, because we all collect this stuff, and if it works great on non-autos, well, we'll just do that. And if it works great on autos and non-autos, well, now we have some solid data. You know what I mean? And here's what it will do. So I'll just typically get out this, and I'm just using my large microfiber here. I'm not going to, hey, Jason, good to see you, man. Thanks for being on. So what we're doing is now I see how I just held the microfiber on the front. The front's dry. So let's look at the sticker is on there. No problem with the sticker. No problem with the ink. going to put it down here, but I want to tend to the Willie Mays card first. So if you guys don't mind, we're just going to hang for a few minutes. So what we're doing, you guys, is I soaked a modern card, and we got a 1953 Willie Mays over there with a lot of dark circles all over it. We're going to tend to that too. But I put some mega dents into this card, as you can see. Still a little bit hanging in there, right? And then I put annoying little sharp scratches and finger marks in them. All raised up nice, but you can still see them a little bit. I could still see them a little bit when I did my other cards. But these sharp ones, those are in there more than the wider, deeper ones. So note that. If you're considering soaking a card, right now I still got some sharp lines in there, but I'm not done. There's still stuff that's going to happen here, all right? So that's just what it looks like after taking out. So if you're like measuring this against home results, and the back looks pretty good, but you see how it has that kind of like little kind of like a little too textury? That's what we need to get to go away, but that's what takes a few days, all right? So let's stop. We're going to come back to that. Don't go away, because I want you to I want to show you what we're going to do with that. We're going to try to do a little massage action on the back of that card and get it in a good place so it dries well. All right. So Josh asks, what about an on-card Immaculate Auto? Don't throw, don't do a thick card. That's a good question, Josh. I'm just going to let that hang out for a second. Don't throw a thick card in card spray. Here's why it works. On vintage cards, it's just because the materials work great and it just cleans it nicely. And it's all paper, so it's like much more simple. But on the Prizm, the reason the Prizm like this has been working pretty well is because it has a hard front. So it has a nice plastic front. So like when I was thinking of this, I'm like, all right, how do I use that plastic front to our advantage? So the only way I could figure it out is like, so if this stays like a wall, the plastic's like a wall, and this back is soft and papery, if I can saturate this entire back, that back plastic is going to hold the card together, and it's going to push out on that plastic. So it just like is the perfect storm for something like this. I put a patch card in spray just to see what it would do. It just got it wet. There's nothing to push it out, So I found more success when I have a patch card with like a dent, a little indent, doing the humidor or using little light spray at a time versus like putting the whole thing in there. So good question. I get asked that a lot. So everybody that had that on their mind, it's not the same. It's really specific to like vintage cards so far and like Prizm, thin, whatever point that is, the plastic front with the paper back. Good question. Let's go back to Willie Mays. Okay. So guys, super dirty Willie Mays here. But this card was calling me. I had to give it a try, and I wanted to do it with you guys. So here we go. So you know what? That's Jay. Jay asked me a good question. After the Mays dries, will you polish it? I will. You know why, Jay? Because the front of the 53 has a nice polyurethane finish, right? It has a shiny finish. So it's very shiny when it's wet. But I want to flip this over and see if we can make any progress on the back. Oh boy, look at this, you guys. So I'll show you how grody this solution is right now. Oh, it's not picking up the way it is for me. It's like starting to look like a urine sample in here. So anyways, it tells us that we're at least making some progress. If it was still clear, I'd be concerned. Perfect. All right. So I want to flip this over here, you guys, and I want to do work on the back a little bit and see if I can get some of this stuff to come off. But to answer Jeremy's question is yes. Since the front of the Willie Mays card has a nice poly, like a lacquer finish on the front, you can polish that type of vintage card. But then, for example, like check this one out. 1934 Hank Greenberg. You guys, this is a 36 Greenberg, and it's a Gaudi. So you guys see Gaudi cards, they have a matte finish. So you don't want to polish a matte finish, but it would just make it wet. You wouldn't do anything to it. Or you could add a weird shine to it. So don't do that. All right. But on the front of a 53, for sure, no problem. All right. Yes, Joe. I'm just using my card spray, guys. Thanks for watching tonight. I'm just using card spray to. I know sometimes you guys might see me use it in like little bits, just to like, work on little things. But sometimes if you got a card that's real moldy or whatever the heck's all over this Willie Mays, I had to give it a shot. So I'd say not a ton of success so far. I was hoping that these things would be like magic and wipe off, but whatever they are, it seems to be pretty in the card. But here's what I want to, everything that we do together like this, you guys, is a good teaching moment. Because remember, when you soak a card like this, it takes 4 or 5 days to dry. So there's a lot of stuff that can happen in the next several days. Like say, after being held between the mats for like several hours, whatever this stuff starts to break down, and it starts to get less and starts to get less. So before you even say to yourself in your head, oh, this project I'm working on is going nowhere, or this stain on this vintage card ain't working out, trust the process. Do the whole thing, And I think you're absolutely right. When I got a comment about looking like mold, I think you're absolutely right. And sometimes mold comes out easy. Sometimes it's very difficult. Now let's change it up a little bit, you guys. So just for the heck of it, I want to tap on these now. So like here's the visual I want to give you. What I want to do is, so say it's mold and it's like tied into the fabric, it's growing all over every fabric. I'm going to go in there and go like this on it now. So now I did the wiping, I did the wiping all over the card. That's the surface. Now I want to go in with a fancy Q-tip here and just tap on these spots just to kind of like have them like, so picture this, like if I tap on it, it's going to just go down a little bit. If I can get that little flex on that wet card right now, if I can just get that flex a little bit like that, it's going to start kind of like breaking down that stain. So I'm just going to go after the big ones right now. Let's see if we can notice anything. And it might not even be right now, but I'm going to hit up every single one of these, you guys, and welcome to Card Care. Sometimes, these videos I make are what? I'll edit them down to 5 minutes long to hopefully, show you the how and the what. But as you see, sometimes it's a marathon, but other times it's not. Sometimes you can just clean up stuff real quick and it's fun. But if you're crazy like me and you like to gravitate towards vintage cards that are like 1s and 2s, I feel you. Respect. And I'm just hitting every single one of these, you guys, just kind of like pecking at it. I'm just hoping with this little mild agitation that I'm doing, it will be enough to like hopefully break these things down. This little tool I'm using, Jeremy, is just like, so I got these, you guys, they're Q-tips. It's a Q-tip with a long bamboo handle. It's like, this is for cleaning guns, you guys. So another thing I like to collect is guns. So this is fun to clean like pistols and rifles and stuff with. All right. So it's good for cleaning cards too. So when you use this, you can get these on Amazon too, you guys. It would just be a precision cotton swab or a rifle swab or just a firearm swab or something like that. But that's what the typical use of this is. All right. So let me keep on tapping around here, guys. But yeah, I'm always looking at tools. Like, since I like to keep like my, if you guys shoot, it's like you get home from shooting all day, like your guns are trashed. So you gotta go ahead and clean them up. So it's like always having these little tools. I'm like, oh, how could I use it on a card? And this is how. And I started using these because you guys, I was noticing, like when I love my little tool that I use the tortille on, the little, white pencil thing. But when I was doing demonstrations, I could only see the back of my hand. And then I got all of you guys taking time off to watch this. And you're like, and it looks like this. So I'm like, I got to be able to do the same thing, but just at a different angle. All right. So since you guys are like here hanging out in like my living room with me, like, let me just show you what I do. It's like, then I'm going to go in and touch it. I just want to feel it. I just want to feel if it's just like, and it is. I know it sounds silly, you guys, but I feel like it's starting to break down a little bit. It's totally in there. I'm not silly, but like I can see it, and it's starting to like look a little bit different. So the thing is, I get asked questions like, hey, Kurt, can I soak a card twice? Yeah, for sure, if it's super dirty or it has like something crazy going on with it like that. But if you guys even remember, when we started this back, and if you just jumped in and you're like, you're going to tell me this looks better than something else, it was worse. So this little bit that we're doing is starting to help. So I'm just going to give it another brush because we just tapped on all those spots, right? So if I got any of this stuff loose, I want to brush it off while we're under solution. It's always easier to work on cards when you're under solution. And guys, I want to apologize if I suck at answering questions tonight. I'm kind of stuck looking down on this one. So if you don't mind. And I see Michelle's here. Jason, thanks, Jason. I appreciate you being here too. So I got good friends on here, guys, that will give you answers if there's anything I'm missing. And if you need me personally for something, you can always direct message me. I'll always answer. It's just, I get super competitive on this stuff. And then when I got a house full of people watching me do it, I'm like, I got to kick ass on this thing, man. But it is starting to move. But you know what? I'm gonna still always play it very safe. I don't ever want to. I have a very good track record with not screwing stuff up, and I'm proud to share that with you. I'm never gonna push it. We're going to get this one. I think the back is about as far as we're going to get it tonight. And I want to see what this card looks like overnight. I want to see if by the morning, I want to take the pad off. And I would love to be like, oh my God, it dropped like 4 generations in color. It's totally working. You know what I mean? I just want to. Too cool of a card. You guys, what's your favorite, if I got vintage collectors on here, what's your favorite early baseball year? Like, I'd say like 53s and 56s are like my favorite looking cards. Like, I love the way that those years look. And I know that, we got a lot of good stuff from all the 50s, but like, is there anything that you guys look for in particular when it comes to 50s baseball? I got to get a better penny sleeve. This one's, I've used it too many times, and I don't want to, what I'm doing, you guys, is I don't want to pinch the edges of the card. So I'm using I always go in with a penny sleeve. 55, yeah, I love, 55 is super sharp. I got a bunch of 58 stuff too. I just I think that like when I was younger, I remember going on like a big card find with my uncles, and we went out, and me and my cousin, actually, if you guys watched, my friend Michelle shot some FAQ videos with me, and you guys were gracious enough to give me a thumbs up or share some stuff with me. But I was talking about going out with my Uncle Chris, who's a cool card guy, and we went out and got a bunch of 56s one day when I was young, and I think it just stuck with me forever. It's just like, they're just so awesome. So, all right, hang out. Here's what I'm doing, you guys. I'm just going to let the card. I don't want to work on the spots anymore under solution tonight. We've had it under solution for a little over 30 minutes, and that doesn't scare me or worry me, but what it does is I don't want to go outside of my normal boundaries, because then there's too many variables. I don't like to do new things, really. I will, but I like to do my normal first. You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but it's looking better. Look at the front now, guys. That was just from when we were working on the back. It's heaviest and bad up there. All of the stains, remember? All of them looked like that. All right, it's on now, Willie Mays. I ain't quitting on this one. I am not going to quit on this one. We're going to get this card looking awesome. It's definitely improving. And it's got a long way to go, but that's why I love card care, man. This stuff is so fun to me. So that, and let's just look at the back. I wanna pat the back dry. I don't like to keep it. I'm gonna show you guys something too. So I'm gonna transfer over. Here's where I want you guys to and I know, guys, if you're just joining in and you're like, Kurt, don't be telling me this looks good. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about it looks better right now from where we started. This thing was mega. We had double the amount of black spots on the back. These are still pretty bad, but I have hope, you guys. So I promise we're going to follow up on this one. But don't go away because I want to show you something here real quick. It's going to look good. I don't know if we'll get every black spot out of there, but it's going to look good. So I'm gonna let that sit there for a second, all right? Oh, who gets the cookie for the best question? It was My Escape World 2. How do you try it? Well, what the heck? That's the perfect segue. All right, so let's talk about that part now. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you a couple options. If you guys are like, what's going on over here? My desk has an up and down on it because when I'm talking to you guys who are like working at it, I don't like to like be hunched over, but I like to work on cards when I'm doing the video down on my, I lower it. So that's another thing that I find handy is an up and down desk, all right? So, oh yeah, will I grade the Willie again? Heck yeah, of course. And even if it gets a 1 again, you guys know as vintage collectors, there's such thing as a 1, there's an ugly one, and there's some good looking ones. Us vintage collectors, man, the number on the card's important, but I think for a vintage collector, we're looking at the card number 1, you know what I mean? I do notice that, and that is not like saying anything against modern era collectors, but I think vintage guys will be like, it's a 2, but what's it look like? You know, and then you look at it, you're like, oh, it's a good looking 2, you know? So, drying now. Let's talk about that. Hold on, I'm gonna explain it. I'm going to look over here real quick. I want to read something real quick. Yeah, that's a good question. Somebody, I got Random Sports asked me, do you find that different years react differently? I want to see if I can get some of these messages on my phone. I have the hardest time reading stuff on my phone. Nah, I'm not going to touch it. I'm afraid I'll like hang up on you guys or something. Not tremendously differently. Baseball cards, paper cards, football cards, pretty much from like the 30s, even back to the 1800s. You guys, I don't know if you guys watched the Allen and Ginter Mike Kelly I did. That was one of the most rewarding cards I ever worked on. Beautiful. But it was like 1887, so, 135, 136 years old. So from paper from then until like the even 60s, 70s, it's all pretty consistent. But like working on a 53 or a 52, especially if you're going to soak a big card, it takes a longer time to dry. Sometimes you might trip yourself out because if you soak a 52, the border will get dark and you'll be like, oh my God, is it like, did I screw it up? And you got to just like wait it out and wait because it will finally pop and turn white like on the last day. So there's stuff that you need to do. There's just stuff that you need to learn and do, I guess, so just practice them, man. Like you guys might have heard about this story before, but like, when it comes to like the main gig that I had growing up was at our family owned a body shop and a dealership. And it was like, not only that, all the classic cars and stuff that my family worked on, it was like one shot, one take. With cards, man, it's from coming from where you had to like paint stuff properly or get the exact stock parts properly, and you can't screw this stuff up, or you can't even break a piece of plastic, or that plastic hasn't been made in 50 years. Like that crazy like perfection like that I learned in automotive restoration, definitely comes over to cards, but the freedom is base cards. There's millions of them. And it's like before I do any of this stuff, you guys practice on your base cards. Trust me, it's freeing. It's like the greatest thing. And I know you're like, oh, it takes more time and I got to like do more stuff. I don't want to hear about it. Just do it. It's part of the gig. I make all these maps and all these videos and all these tools for you. That's your part. Got to do a couple. All right. So, let me now talk about drying. Let me think how I want to do this. So, standard way of drying. you take a card out of, and we got to go back and do a little bit of Prizm stuff here in a second, but let's talk about vintage drying, then we're going to go back to the table, then we'll wrap it up. I'm trying to go as fast as I can. Thank you guys for your patience. So, vintage card drying. You can put it between the mats, the card mats, and the plastic plates and the clips. It's a must. At some point in the process, you're going to do this. However, if you're home during the day or whatever and you can be around, you can start by putting your card in the humidor before you put it in there. I'm going to put the Willie. I'm not going to put it in the humidor because it's nighttime and I don't want to leave it in there all night. But check it out. You can put your vintage card right after being soaked. Let me show you, give you an example here. Come with me on a little adventure here. So let's pretend it's like, morning time. And I just get done with this, working on this Willie card. And I'm like, all right, I want to get it started drying in the humidor. You guys, I keep my humidor at like 73%. And what I do is I just simply put Willie in there. And I always put cards on an oversized penny sleeve so it's not sitting on the bottom. And I put it in there face up. Willie's face up. Close it. Let it sit. I will let it sit for 3 hours. Then I'll come back and I'll flip it over and I'll let it sit for 3 hours. And that thing will stay flat as a board while I'm doing it. Okay? It will stay flat. And then for like a 53, so a big body card like this, it'll probably take, if I left it in there, and if I left it in there for about 7 hours, it's going to start doing this. So it's going to be flat. But then if you peek in and the corners are starting to come up a little bit, but it's not going to look like this. But if you start peeking in there and starting to lift up a little bit, it's going to tell you that it is at the perfect dry stage to go back between the plates and the pads and let it rest. Okay? So you go, and then you just do this for another probably 2 days. It's still going to take you a couple days, but if you're going to be around, the humidor is a good drying tool, and it will slowly dry your card, and it will leave it with a nice texture on it. Okay, the mats will do the same. So you don't have to have a humidor, but I get asked about that because, I make a lot of videos and content, and I'll sometimes just be rapping and talking and saying, yeah, and then I'll dry it in the humidor. And people are like, wait, what? How do you dry it in the humidor? And I just, I like doing that because it speeds up it's not about getting the card dry fast. It's about doing it right. So I noticed that 2 things. It dries a little bit faster in the humidor and it stays right. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's not like I don't have to sacrifice anything there. The card still looks fantastic. Yeah, you know what I mean? So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to go back to the table and I want to show you we're going to work on the back of this Prizm and we're going to lock it up for the night and we're going to lock up the Willie Mays and let it rest for the night. And then I owe you guys some follow-ups, all right? So, you know what? I did talk about the modern drying earlier in this live. If you are just jumping on, I talked about it earlier, and if it's cool, I'll just give you a quick summary. It's very similar. You could probably, and I haven't done this yet, you could probably dry a modern card in a humidor face down, so the chrome side is down with the back up. I bet you could dry it from start to finish in a humidor, and actually I'm going to probably try that. I bet you could do it the whole way. But the modern cards, what I've been doing to get the only success I've had so far, the only card graded I got back so far from the modern soaking is the Zion. And it got 9.5, so I'm very happy with that. But the way I dried this one was between the pads for hours out of the day, taking it out, letting it sit and rest just on my desk. So, because when I kept it closed the whole time, it took too long to dry. It was just holding on the moisture too much. And then I would just let it sit on the desk and I'd hold it flat and stuff like that, so there's a variety of things, but that's how I did it. And then by day 4, it was not as cool to the touch anymore. And then I just held it flat between the plates and, and then it just was finally I'm all right, it looked really good. So that's the short version of it. All right. So let's go back to these cards. We're going to lock them up and get them drying. And then, that's what we'll do next. All right. So here's my lowering desk thing again. So, all right, here we go. Okay. Let me get my camera right here. And you guys, hang out for a few more minutes because there's a couple things I want to show you on these, all right? So let me just get all my stuff right here. Let me take a look here. All right, so I'm just looking over the my questions, you guys. I'm sorry if I missed any. How about modern drying good? Cool, guys. Thanks. I just had a lot of viewers tonight, and then I couldn't see all the questions, and I'm just want to make sure that I got them all. All right, so let's move on here. So then next, so with the Willie Mays card, you guys, the reason I'm not putting the humidor tonight is because it's bedtime for me, and I can't just let it sit in there all night. It's too long of a sit. And since I still have these heavy, like, weird mold stains that are, like, starting to break down, I want to leave card spray in this card overnight to hopefully kill more of that stuff because it's a mess. And I can already see some of this stuff starting to kind of, you see how it's kind of like opening up? Like, this was real dark and it's starting to like almost like break down and move out. So I want to hold it all night and just see what the heck it looks like in the morning. That's the moldiest card I've ever worked on. And we'll see if we can make some progress. I do feel good about it. You guys probably think I'm crazy saying that, but I do feel all right about it. You know? This camera stand, I got it on Amazon. I get everything on Amazon. You know, it's that circular base just with the one. It has like the U clip on it, and it's perfect. So I can be hands free and just look for that one. It's almost like a microphone stand versus the different like kind of like they have a bunch of weird ones that are like flat that I can never like get any depth with. So yeah, if you guys need a good phone stand, look for that one with the circle base like this with the telescoping pole. It works well. All right, so then we're gonna hold this Willie Mays flat and we're gonna clip it up for the night, okay? And we're going to put that like this. Now, don't go anywhere. I want to finish this Prizm with you. And Willie's going to stay here. And I'm going to, hopefully, you guys, like, hopefully that spray will kill the mold and break it down. Win, lose, or draw, I'm going to show you. But it's probably going to take me another day or so. So bear with me, and I'll report back. Because, like I said earlier, it's all good data. Like, if it doesn't get any better, then you know very well, like if you see those moldy spots, it might be a hard thing to get rid of, you know, or if we get rid of them, you'll be like, sweet, I'll look for that stuff. They're on the, I got asked about the card mats. Yes, you guys get these on, it comes in a roll and I get them on Amazon. It's, on my website under products we love, there's a tab called products we love and it's toolbox liner. However, don't go to Home Depot and buy toolbox liner because if it has any bumps on it, a lot of the toolbox liners, you guys, will have texture. This is super smooth. So I have it on my website and I get it from Amazon. I think the maker is Queso Man or something like that. It's the stuff that I like to use. So if you see that at Depot or whatever, you can get it, but just be very careful. Somebody got some textured toolbox liner and sent me a picture of a card they dried, and they're like, hey man, my card looks all like wonky. And I'm like, whoa, what the heck did you do? And they showed me their toolbox liner, and I said, oh, that's not the toolbox liner. So just word to the wise. No, I don't. Yes, okay, good question that I got. Would you throw away those card mats after using them on a moldy card? Absolutely, 100%. Thanks for asking that. That's why, you guys, I buy a roll of liner at a time, and I always have a pile of it ready to go. Soon as, I'll keep some of it just for doing, polishing cards on, and as soon as these get a little frosty, I throw them out. I see breakers get all I'm jealous. They got these nice tables with their logos and all this good stuff, and it's like, card cleaner guys, we dirty these things up. All right, so here's what I want to show you before we wrap it up. Got some improvement on here. That's what it looks like after the soak. That's kind of what the Zion looked like too. And after the drying process, they tightened up. But I want to give it a head start. The feedback I was getting from you guys was, hey, big dents I could get out. Little sharp things were challenging. All right, so here's what I want to try. Before we start the process and retaining it and holding it flat, because this back, you guys, when you're done with this back is like mush. So don't push on it or touch it very much, okay? I want to use the Q-tip because I rounded it out. Do you see how it's like, see how it's softer now compared to if you guys see me work on wrinkles on the back of cards, I pat that down. So I'm not digging at it. Matt, what's up, dude? Good to see you, Matthew. So then what I'm going to do is use the rounded outside. And I just want to see if I can help the guys remedy this problem. Because guys are saying, hey, Kurt, I soaked a card. Got great results on these big ones, but I had these little ones that were a pain in the butt. So I'm thinking if I can just smooth these out a little bit before we get started, or before we start the drying process, maybe it would help. So I'm just making a little bit of contact here with these problem areas and just trying to get them like a little bit. I'm not even trying to make them go away right now. I'm just trying to get them like a little bit more open and not be as like rigid, like it looks like a fingernail dug into them. Because that's what it is. I dug my fingernails into these. That's what happened earlier to recreate this stuff. Because fingernail damage is real. I bet you I get a message a day saying, hey man, I accidentally got, fingernail mark or whatever in the back of this card. So that's even too long. Keep them tight. I wouldn't soak a Contenders, man, because it's too paper. You got to have a plastic front to do this one. Yeah, I think a Contender would probably just fall apart. So it's good to see you, Matt. What time is it in Japan right now? I imagine you're probably getting up and getting ready for the day while we're winding down over here. Yeah, you know what? That's a good question too. Do you reuse the same penny sleeve for this step? Yeah, I'll reuse this penny sleeve a few times. I always just keep a few of these on the desk. And once they just kind of like card mats, once they get like a little flimsy or a little bit kind of used, I throw them out. But I'm always using little tools like this. All right, so that's what I wanted to do. Oh, hold on, there's one more. I didn't touch this one. There's a big old mark I did right here. So I'm just thinking, like, if I can smush out those nail marks a little bit, maybe it will, 1 p.m. Oh, dude. Yeah, it's definitely, it's weird how everybody on every different time zone, just different times of the world. Blows my mind, man. And it's, my Australian buddies it's 3 over there, one in Japan. Thanks, you guys, for joining tonight. So, let's see what happens. This was the most... That stuff's hardcore. I don't know if I'll get it to come out. But that's why I want to show you guys as hardcore as I can get on these things and just see if they will ever get any better. So what I was doing was, just to give you guys a better view, because I know that penny sleeve sometimes is really glary. I'm just gently kind of mowing over these areas and just seeing if I can soften them up a little bit. Like, you can do it on the card. You're not going to hurt it. But I just realized it's kind of hard to look at. So just trying to soften them up, because once we start the drying process, hopefully when this all comes back together, man, we won't have these big scars in it. All right, I'm good for tonight, because this one takes a while to dry too. So here we go. We're gonna do a pad on the bottom, pad on top. Good there. Oh, hold on. I just read a question. I just read something that I didn't even know. Who just wrote this to me? PSA by an SGC. News just broke. Well, dude, that's news to me. I don't even know what that means. I'm kind of slow. So, tell me what that means. Does that mean SGC is still SGC, or do you think that they'll just like suck it up and dissolve it and it'll just be called PSA now and they just like took them out of the marketplace? I don't know. That's interesting. It seemed like from a business perspective, SGC has been, pretty well respected more over the years. And, even myself, like I've always liked SGC when it comes to vintage. I know the PSA rules with resale and, a lot of their stuff, and I like PSA a lot. But no, I didn't, I don't know. I don't know what that will mean. I guess we'll wait and see like the rest of us. So, here's what I owe you guys. Hold on one second. Okay. I'm going to owe you a good follow-up because I'll turn that back on. It's dark over there. All right, so I don't know if all those dents are going to come out of the back of that Prizm. We'll see. The bigger ones were easier to get out, but those bottom ones, man, I just like ran my nail into the back of it. I want to do all this with you guys, so like when you see this type of stuff on the back of a Prizm or a Mosaic or Bowman Chrome or whatever, we can use these videos to go back and go, oh, you know what? The wide ones come out real good, or the dimples on the back came out well. The sharp lines don't come out. That way we can, at least know what we're looking at if we have these issues on cards in our collection, or you're just sizing up stuff for like a good buy or like a good, what do you call it? Just project, I guess. Cool, guys, I'm going to look over here real quick and just, my eyes are getting tired and I didn't wear my glasses. Oh, I do got my glasses. All right, here's the old man coming out at me. All right, so let me read now. Oh, that's good. Now I can see everything. It's funny, like the way I can see the cards just fine. But when it gets a little bit further away, it gets a little bit trickier for me. Yeah, so I guess, we'll find out about that. If they bought them, Jason always knows the gossip or knows the business. Yeah, that would be weird. I wonder how that would all work. But I'm not totally sure. But hey, I guess we'll all learn about it together. But guys, I kept you I hope I didn't keep you too long, But tonight was fun. And let me just make sure I'm going to look at my list. Make sure I didn't miss anything. We talked about drying. If you didn't see the whole video, on this video, we are working on a super moldy Willie Mays card that I need to let rest for the rest of the night. But we talked about the drying process using just mats, using a humidor if needed. And also working on more modern soaking stuff. And this modern card, on the back of it, I beat the heck out of it. Big dents, little dents, sharp little fingernail marks. Whatever happens, happens. I just want to see what the heck we can expect on getting stuff out of the back of these cards. And hopefully, they don't come out of the pack like that anymore, because it's almost like every time I see these things, they're like on the more modern era type cards. Whatever, we'll always stick together and share our best tips with each other and have fun doing it. You guys, each and every Wednesday, I look so much forward to this, and thanks for hanging with me tonight. I know tonight was moving quick. I hope it was like helpful, and hope you picked up a couple things, and I hope I hit on a handful of stuff that you get asked for, a lot of the common questions I get asked. All right, so all right, I'll leave you alone for the rest of the night, but I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. As always, man, take care of yourself and someone else. We're not here for a long time, we're here for a good time. I'm Kurt with Kurt's Card Care.